deglutition is swallowing, and swallowing is the process of moving a bolus of food through your mouth, oropharynx, esophagus, and into your stomach. The tongue and bolus. A bolus is a mass of food or substance that is chewed up at the moment of mastication. After the food is mechanically broken down, it then results into the bolus, which is moved to one side of the oral cavity by the tongue. Teeth. The teeth have an important role with the oral phase. Food is mechanically broken down by the action of teeth controlled by the muscles of mastication. The medulla oblongata stimulates the soft palate and uvula to close the nasal pharynx. It also stimulates the epiglottis to close the trachea. The trigeminal nerve and glossopharyngeal nerve are the two nerves that play a huge role in swallowing, and chewing is controlled by the trigeminal nerve. The swallowing center is a voluntary initiation of swallowing that takes place in the special areas of the brain. The uvula is responsible for closing the nasopharynx when stimulated by the medulla oblongata. The soft palate and hard palate play a role in the buccal phase when the bolus is being pushed into the esophagus. When stimulated by the medulla, it is responsible for closing off the trachea. Peristalsis. It is the contraction of smooth muscle in the esophagus that allows the bolus to move down the esophagus. The tactile receptors are responsible for stimulating the medulla oblongata. The buccal phase, which is the first phase of deglutition, begins with mastication. The teeth break down the food and mix with saliva, creating the bolus. Chewing is controlled by the trigeminal nerve. The tongue then pushes the food to the hard palate and soft palate. The last part is the bolus is pushed into the oral pharynx. The second phase is the pharyngeal phase. It begins with the bolus stimulating tactile receptors, which are located in the oral pharynx, that stimulate the medulla oblongata, which are controlled by the swallowing center. The medulla oblongata stimulates the soft palate and uvula to close the nasopharynx, also stimulates the epiglottis to close off the trachea that prevents food from entering any other areas. The esophageal sphincter relaxes and lets the bolus enter the esophagus. The esophageal phase begins when the sphincter relaxes. Peristalsis propels the bolus down the esophagus. Once the bolus reaches the bottom of the esophagus, the lower esophageal sphincter opens and the bolus enters the stomach.